The What It Takes Radio Company presents How to Be a World-Class Podcaster so you can tell your story. And today we talk about, here we go, what wearing a coat and tie has to do with being a world-class podcast broadcaster. Greetings again, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. Another episode, maybe even a bit of an adventure in how you can be a world-class podcaster. Because, the world needs to hear your story. And you've got some wisdom, you've got some insight, you've got some truth, and you have a little bit of courage in that you'd say, you know what, I think I can do this. I don't know very much about it, but others are doing it, and I think I can do it too. So congratulations on that at least touch of courage right now. Again, my name is Stan Houston, and I'm the creator of this program. After 40 years of radio and TV, broadcasting, teaching, storytelling, I would like to share what I've learned about using the microphone and the camera and the modern marketing media, particularly podcasting, to build your career, to change your world, maybe to change a little bit of the world, maybe help your business go and grow, a good cause that you want to share about, and maybe just some entertainment and some wisdom that you'd like to, with a smile, bring into the world. Make it at least a little bit better and kinder, and maybe a little bit more merciful place. In episode 2, I very deliberately talked about authors and writers because we have decided that this is a podcast and publishing company, and podcasting is a good way to begin publishing if you want to be an author. On the other hand, if you're an author or a writer, today you're going to have to learn a little bit more about podcasting if you want to survive as an author and a writer in these days. So the podcast can help you become a publisher and a writer. And if you are a writer and a publisher, you'll need to learn how to use a podcast way of life, way of thinking, and a way of performing if you want to succeed in the publishing and writing and authoring and creating business today. And essentially, we want to help all people who are creators, people who are creating things, making things, doing things, innovating things. We want to be the reach out people for those of you who would call yourself a maker, a creator, an artist, someone who wants to do different things to create different realities and different experiences for people. So I did that for authors and writers, but I very much want you to know that what I would like you to tell me is, hey, I'm a plumber, I'm a tradesman, I'm a contractor, I'm a lawyer, whatever it is you are. And if you would like me to try and help you in your particular creation, your particular profession, the thing that you do, I can probably help you and make it specifically for whatever profession or career or position you have. I can probably then do a program that would be very helpful to you. And even though it's just for you, that's important, other people will learn a great deal about it for them, even though they might not be or anywhere close to you in the kind of profession you are at. So please give that some thought as you are listening to us and joining with us. Now today I put on a coat and tie, and you saw the title, why having a coat and tie and wearing a coat and tie on the radio is good for you. Well, let me tell you a little bit about that. Now, back in the old days, the radio stations oftentimes required people to dress up for their radio. Now, they don't really do that much anymore, I don't think, but that was the case, and it was smart thinking. They might want to bring a client to the radio station to try and sell them some goods, sell them some services, sell them some, commercials. And they wanted the place to look sharp, and they wanted the people to look like they were professional. So it was rather important that people would dress professionally, even though, they're on the radio. No one sees them. So that was part of it. Also, there was a good chance that a junior high or high school or maybe even grade school class will say, well, we'd like to go see what it's like to be on the radio for a career day or just an information field trip. And so if that was the case, they wanted to make sure that the children saw somebody who was more than presentable. In those days, even the kids had dress codes in school, so obviously it would be good if perhaps that there was a bit of a dress code for the people who were doing the radio. And, you want to look good. So when they go home and tell their parents that they saw so-and-so who's on the radio, and they'll tell them what they looked like. So that was a little bit of it. And that's just the way it was. That's what people did. It was before the age of casual or business casual even. That's just the way it was. And I remember it was a great story when I was working with people primarily as a business performance coach in sales and marketing, which I did a lot of. And this is during the kind of, when things were getting a little more casual about what you should wear to make a sales call. And of course, the younger people were more inclined to a more casual point of view. And I remember a gentleman at that particular time, he's about my age, he said he was listening patiently, and you could tell he was a little uncomfortable, but he was trying to learn. He tried to, and he honored these younger people. But I remember one time he simply said, "Well, I just have to tell you, I've never lost a sale because I wore a coat and tie. I've never lost a sale because I wore a coat and tie." Well, just let that sit on your head for a while. My favorite radio expression. But let's do this. Let's see that maybe that's a good idea, and that is helpful to help us make a segue into another person. Because right now we're going to talk about the two most important people in your career, in terms of your program. And I guarantee you this is hardly ever talked about in all of those other programs. You'll probably never see a course in podcasting entitled What Wearing a Coat and Tie on the Radio You Can Learn From. Well, first of all, let me just be old-fashioned enough to say I am old-fashioned. I like to I have a number of nice ties. I like to wear ties. They're very beautiful ties, and I'm not terribly comfortable going out in public in casual attire. I was back in the age where I knew, and it's still true, I'm always on stage. I was a freelancer. I'm on an airplane. The person sitting next to me might be a potential client. And so I always dressed at least for leadership, and knowing that who knows whether it's on an elevator, whether it's on an airplane, wherever, I could meet somebody who could be a sponsor, be someone who could help me with my career. So I was always prepared to be on stage and make my my little 1-minute presentation and try to engage and make a new friend. That still may be true for you, so maybe you want to think about that in your business and your career and in your podcasting today. I wanted to be dressed so that it was always positive in terms of how I appeared. Okay? And I remember one time I was lucky enough to fly first class, and so I had my sport coat on, and I was kind of in a nice black turtleneck at that time, and And one lady said to me, she looked at me and she said, "You're a professional speaker, aren't you?" And I said, "Well, yeah, that's a lot of what I do." And she said, "I could just tell." All right. Again, just let that story sit on your head for a while. And indeed, now, the point of the whole story. But I also remembered that one of my old mentor friends once said, you can always take off your coat and tie, but you can't put them back on. So there it goes. Better be right than wrong. Here we go. But coat and tie, that's right. Put it, in whatever coat and tie means for you, man or woman. It is that style which suits you and, of course, in effect, is reflective of perhaps something of the best of you. But here we go. I did that because I often wanted people to think, hey, I'm a guest in their home. If I were a guest in their home, how would I dress? If a gentleman or a lady had invited me to go someplace in their fine automobile, how would I want to appear? And so what it does is it makes me think of them, because it's not about me. It's not about how I want to dress. It's not about what I want to be about. It's about them. And so I would be thinking, hey, who are the people that I want to be in their home, in their car with? You see, the people who get involved in radio, some of their favorite notes are me, 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 me. It's about me. It's about me. It's about me. It's about the music that I want to play. It's about the story I have to tell. It's about me. We tend to be people who have a little bit of an ego. In fact, sometimes we have more than a little bit of an ego. We have a rather strong ego, and it's just natural. Part of the human condition is we kind of want to put ourselves first. That's just a little bit of how we're wired until we perhaps have a little more sensitivity and maturity and adulthood to actually say, it's really not about me, it's about them. So that's why it's good to think about the coat and tie if it helps you to think about the other. Now, that's the first thing you want to identify. Your radio program, your podcast, who is it for? Who is it for? Well, anybody. No. Fundamental rule of radio, of communication. The more you try to reach everybody with everything, or anybody with anything, you reach nobody with nothing. When you try to reach everybody with everything, you reach nobody with nothing. So, who are the people? In fact, more important, who is the one person that this program is for? In fact, I oftentimes say, first of all, when you're doing your program, sometimes look in the mirror behind your camera or behind your microphone. So that'll help you to smile and make sure that you're keeping a pretty face on because, by the way, people can hear a smile. Yes, they can. They can hear that. They can. But at the same time, not only does it make you think about how you appear to them, it also causes you to think about them. It is, as one of my mentors said, you're having a cup of coffee with a good friend. You're writing a letter and you're reading it to a good friend. What would you say? Think about that. Now, when you start to put that piece in first, it makes sense. I'm very honest about this. When I do a podcast, I don't always dress in a coat and tie, but I oftentimes do. And of course, here I am doing a podcast via video, and it's important that I dress at least for not success, but dress for leadership, and dress what makes me feel good. And when you've got a kind of a face made for radio, it sometimes helps that you do what you can to have a better appearance for an old man. So we try and do that. But now, here's the deal. Oftentimes you will not be able to decide who is that other. And oftentimes this is the lesson. I want to introduce you to someone you just have to meet. That's right. If you want to be successful as a podcaster, as a broadcast communicator, a really good, world-class broadcast communicator, there's somebody you have to meet. And do you know who that someone is? Oh, yes, you do know that. You do know that someone that you have to meet. That someone is you. That's right. How do you know about you? What do you know about you? Who are you? See, that's vital. Now, anybody can be taught, and you can go to your chat, and this is what has got a lot of people scared, and you can put in your chat stuff and your AI stuff, and you can get a nice script. And actually, a lot of that is very good if you're just doing information, and you can speak it and say it. And scads of people are frightened because they think that they're podcasting, they're broadcasting their business, that anybody can now do a course or a radio program or a video program because they just have to ask for the script from the chat, from the AI, and do it. And lots of people will do that. They already are. But that's not from you. And what I want you to do, to have and to be, is a fully present, fully informed you. And so one of the things I will ask you to do is to get to know you. And there are a number of questions that we could ask. It would be very helpful to you. And if you really want to do this right, we'll do a little more instruction in one of our courses. We'll tell you what some of those questions are that you might want to ask yourself. But it's time for you to get to know you and who you are and what you value. And now, what is important to you? What are some of the things that you want to share? What are some of the stories you want to tell? What is driving you? What is making you want to do this and go through the hard work of doing it well? What is it that you value? What is it you think is important? What are the stories that you have in your heart, mind, and spirit that you want to tell? What is the wisdom, insight, and truth that you want to share? Again, as one person said to me, Stan, actually, when you help me to a podcast and get ready to do it, it actually was one of the best therapy sessions I've ever had. And it happened to be quite a bit cheaper. Yes, the ability to see ourselves, to know ourselves, to understand ourselves, to see what is motivating us. And once we have that down, we can decide what it is we think we need to say, the story we need to tell, the wisdom we need to share. And then, based on who we are and the story we are, let's see if that will help us decide who are the people we want to speak to, who are the people we want to communicate with, who are the people we want to have a conversation with that counts. Who are the people that we not only want as a viewer or a listener, but we want to have a friend. Let me tell you, the purpose of information is just that, information. The purpose of entertainment is entertainment. Nothing wrong with any of that stuff. The purpose of communication is relationship. It's about getting to know and care and connect with another human being. It is about being together. That's one of the things that will make you very different. And knowing that and doing that will make you into truly a world-class broadcaster, a world-class podcaster. Know the other and know you. We'll start there. Hey, next session is coming up, and get our course. Invite us to come and coach with you. We'll be glad to do that. Stan Houston, that's my name. Stan at witradio.net. Stan at witradio.net. Until next time, bye for now. And I thank you for listening to How to Be a World-Class Podcaster, brought to you by What It Takes Radio. And you can reach out to me at stan at witradio.net, witradio.net, or 520-664-7002, USA.